What's going on, everyone? It's GentooMan here, also known as Rainy, and I'm just back on my bullshit, recording videos in the middle of the night, or the early hours of the morning. This is the time I thrive. It's not the time that I thrive. I should be asleep. I'm slowly dying. Anyways, no one cares about that. This story time, the last one I recorded, which was like all of 3 seconds ago, but might have been yesterday or like a month ago for you guys. I don't actually know. Last one I recorded, though, was about a camping trip, and that just made me think of another camping trip story. So I'm kind of on a kick right now, so I'm going to tell you this one. So I'm just going to hop right into it. I'm going to stop wasting time because I'm really good at wasting time just talking about things no one cares about in the opening of a video, and that's horrible for retention. So anyways, this camping trip took place it was like early summer. It was about June. And around where I live, June is relatively unpredictable, like the weather could really be anything. It could be really hot. It could be like not as hot. It could be like cloudy. So we were all geared up for this camping trip, right? But like the day before we were gonna leave, we found out that it was gonna be like pretty rainy. Like me, am I right? Yeah, I'll just go kill myself. Anyways, I'm not actually gonna kill myself. No one killed themselves. But it was supposed to rain, right? Like the weather wasn't supposed to be very good, and that's not fantastic for camping. So a lot of people ended up backing out, and we ended up it was weird because we canceled the trip kinda because most people like backed out, but then the next morning we were like, yeah, the weather seems like good enough and it seems to be holding up, so like let's go. Let's go. So we called up the people who had said that they would still go, managed to wrangle together a couple of people, and we went. So we got out there like probably early afternoon, and we started setting up, and I think I've mentioned in camping videos before, but like my truck, I could have like a tent that I can put in the back, and it folds out into a tent, right? So there is that. Oh, I completely lost my train of thought. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, so there's that. We got that set up, and by this point, by the time we got there, it had started raining, so we were setting that up in the rain, and we were setting up this other little like structure thing over where we were going to cook food. And I guess for the lack of better words, it wasn't ideal. It kind of was what it was. It wasn't ideal, but we decided to make the most of it, and we were going to have fun. So we set everything up. Setting things up was not great. Most people weren't looking forward to sleeping on like the ground of the tent. I was fine. My bed was in like the actual bed of the truck, so I was chilling. But anyways, we were making the best out of a not so great situation. Once we got everything set up, like things were relatively like all right. Like we got some food going, and we were just having a good time, like talking. I think we played some card games. Like we were just hanging out, like making the best of a situation that maybe wasn't the greatest. So we were all just kind of hanging out, and my one friend, I'm gonna call him Spencer. So my one friend Spencer, he was gonna come join us. But he was going to be later because he had some stuff to take care of, so he was going to show up later. Now, as I've learned in my times of going camping and having the one friend who's like, yeah, I'll show up later, I'll let you know when I'm on my way. That doesn't always, or it like never works very well, because whenever you go camping, like when 9 times out of 10, if you're at like a campsite, you don't have any cell service, so you have like no way to hear from them. So usually you try and confirm a time. I didn't confirm a time with Spencer. He just told me he was going to come, and I was like, okay, cool. He was like, yeah, I should be there like early evening-ish. And I'm like, okay, cool. So, we're kind of more time passes by. We end up packing up all the food, and we're not really hanging out outside or in our little like structure thing. We're hanging out in the tent, and we're playing games. And we're just, just trying to have a good time. And it starts to get a bit later, like we're playing our games, we're talking, we're chilling, and time passes by because time flies when you're having fun. And then we suddenly realize, we're like, okay, like we haven't, like Spencer's not here yet. Like we should probably let's give it a bit, but if he doesn't show up, then we should probably go look for him. So, excuse me. So about like an hour goes by, right? And we still like no sign of Spencer. So we decided that some of us should probably go look for him. And by some of us, that ended up being literally all of us except one girl who we left by herself, just in the tent because she didn't want to come. I don't know why we did that. We shouldn't have left someone alone. But we did because she wanted to stay and no one decided to stay with her. I had to drive because I was the only one sober enough to do so. So don't look at me. Don't look at me and say like, oh, Rainey, why didn't you stay? Why didn't you stay with her if you're so up on your high horse of you shouldn't have left her alone? I had to drive. Okay, no one else could have driven. It was only me. I was being safer by being the one to leave, if anything. Anyways, whatever. So we set out, and we set out until we get cell service, which is like pretty far, right? Because we drove out of our town and like through a couple other towns, and then like past all these other towns, like into like, you know, the fucking woods, which is where you go to do camping. And so we're driving out pretty far, and we're kind of just like yapping, just kind of having a good time, you know. Just kind of continuing our conversations and whatnot. So we drive all the way out until we get cell service, and it takes a while. It takes like a solid like 20-30 minutes. Like it's a while away, which is kind of more so why I stand on that we shouldn't have left the one girl behind, because like we were pretty far in case anything even did happen. So we get cell service. I whip open my phone. I try and call Spencer, and I get nothing from him. And I completely forgot like the most relevant detail of this story, by the way. Actually, I'm going to backtrack a little. So when we were pulling out of the campsite to get onto the road to go find cell service, like 2 minutes go by and we pass this like small fuck ass car. It almost looks like a smart car, but it's like a box, right? It's just like a cube. It's this orange cube, and we pass it and we're like, what the hell is that thing? It's just like, yeah, it's just kind of in passing, right? Like we see it and we pass it and we're like, what is that? I've never seen a car that looks like that. And we you know, we make a couple jokes and then we keep driving. And as we're driving, we look for Spencer's car, right? Like we look for it, and I know what Spencer drives. He drives like the big white trucks. That's what we're looking for. We don't see it. And then we eventually get to cell service. I try calling him, and I don't get anything. I get one of my buddies to try calling him, and we get nothing. We cannot get a hold of him. So we start driving back, and this is kind of irrelevant to the story, but on the drive back, one of the girls on the camping trip with us, she started talking about like the kind of books she reads, which I don't know. I think it's fair to say like all women are like this, but the books that women read are fucking weird, man. She started telling us about like this book she was reading about this girl who's like seeing this guy who she kind of likes, but then there's also this other guy who's like in a mask and like stalks her, and they like to hook up and whatnot, and how like the masked man like makes her run through the woods, and they like, well, let's just say like exhibit some actions of like consensual non-consent. I don't really want to like, if that doesn't make sense, then I'm not describing it more. But like after she says all this, there's like an awkward silence until one of the other girls just like bursts out with a, you need to get laid, bro. And so we all, you know, have a good laugh at that. Anyways, complete side profile there. So we get back, right, and we're like, there's no sign of Spencer. Like I couldn't get a hold of him, and I feel like we would have known if we passed him, because like I know what his car looks like, and we didn't see it. So we get back and we're wondering like, well, what's going on with Spencer? So we get back to our site specifically, and we see parked in our site is that little fuck ass orange car just parked there, and we're like, what the hell is this thing? Because like I have never seen this thing before in my life. No one in the car had ever seen this car. We didn't think Spencer drove that thing, nor have we ever seen that kind of car. So we park the car and we get out and we go back towards the tent, because we're also like, oh shit, like we left our friend in that tent. So we open up the tent pretty quickly, and there's Spencer just with the girl that stayed, and they're just yapping, and they're like, oh, hey guys, how's it going? So I look at Spencer, I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, what did you drive, dude? Like, I was looking for your truck. We went out to try and find you. And he was like, oh yeah, like I didn't want to take the truck, so I borrowed my aunt's car. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, it is the weirdest thing. I think, like, it took me a while because I never got the name of the car from him. I ended up just trying to find it online, and I'm pretty sure it's a Scion IQ. I could be wrong on that. Do not quote me, but I'm fairly certain that's what it is. Anyways, we ended up asking him, like, okay, well, like, glad you made it safe. Like, sorry we weren't here. Like, how'd the interaction go when you just got here and there was some, like, random girl just chilling here? Because, like, Spencer had never met this girl before. Anyways, they end up telling us, the girl, I'm just going to keep saying the girl. I'm kind of towards the end of the story. I'm not giving her a name. Girl tells us that she was just, like, vlogging to herself, just, like, filming herself, like, drinking and saying things. And in the middle of that, she hears a car pull up and someone getting out and just yelling, like, hello. And she showed us the video, and the video is actually funny because, like, you can hear Spencer's voice, like, calling out, like, my name and then, like, a couple of our buddies' names, and it's really funny because the girl who was in the tent is like, hey, you don't know me, but my name's so and so. I'm with them, like, I'm with your friends. They went to look for you, like, want to come hang out? And he was like, okay, sure. Spencer's a very friendly individual. I mean, also, what other choice does he have? Like, sit in his car and be awkward? So yeah, they just kind of, like, hung out till we got back. And man, I almost feel bad naming this video after the car, but the car is so scuffed that, like, it's really the highlight of the story is the scuffed car. Because the next day we ended up calling it on this camping trip because, you know, we were going to deal with the rain, but then when we were making breakfast the next morning, the rain turned into snow. We're like, nope, not doing that. So we ended up leaving. But Spencer lives in, like, a different city that I do, and he had taken the weekend off. So he's like, oh, well, I'm going to, like, stay in your city and we should just, like, hang out and do stuff. So we did. When we got back into the city, we went for burgers, and the restaurant we went to, he was about to, like, park the car, and he's like, you know, I bet I could park the car in this parking spot sideways. And you know what? I think he could have. I really do believe he could have. It's just like, I know there's, like, not even that much else to say about it, but I'm so fixated on this car. Like, this thing is just so scuffed. Like, you had to choose between having a trunk or a back seat. Like, that's not even a joke. Like, I witnessed that because someone else in the group came with us for burgers. Like, it was just nuts. Like, this thing is so scuffed. It's unbelievable. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the story. Sorry for ranting about some dumbass car that I can't even, like, 100% confidently give you the answer to what kind of car it is, but I thought it was funny. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about it. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new. You all know the drill at this point. Just do the YouTube shit. Please engage with the video. That helps me a ton. But yeah, thank you guys seriously for watching the video. It means the world to me, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.